So I want to start today with really the main focus. Our upcoming release is bringing a chat agent into the UI of the product that's going to have two major functions in its initial release. And we're really keeping the scope pretty limited to make sure that, it's a valuable feature and everything that it does is pretty well contained and makes sense. In the initial offering, we're doing is we're bringing context from your environment together, the IP groups, the defined applications, the exporter security groups, everything that our platform knows about as far as the context of your environment. We're bringing that along with the real-time network data that we see, the real-time output of the analytics that are running on the platform, and ultimately joining those together with natural language. So for the longest time, and we'll cover it kind of a few times over as we go through, but for the longest time, really the usage you could get out of most products was somewhat limited to how good of a user of that product you were. Are you a power user? Have you gone through training for it? Has an update happened that maybe changed the workflow for doing various things? What we're going to see as AI kind of creeps into all other products, and again, a lot of us are used to like a chat GPT style inference. Maybe people who have a little bit more advanced workflows have been hitting an OpenAI API on the back end and maybe integrating LLM interactions into their own projects. But ultimately, really that pivot of using just natural language to get to results rather than kind of needing to know how to orchestrate and operate a platform between you and the results is going to be the major innovation of this initial step here. So we'll walk through kind of what that looks like, and then we'll start to explore the future after that. So in an existing workflow, around network observability, especially with our platform, it might start with some sort of user submitted ticket or alert that suggests there's either performance degradation on the network or some sort of security issue that's happened. So when it comes to investigating that in order to kind of get context around what's going on and then ultimately lead yourself to kind of the remediation steps, it really begins with figuring out what exporters on my network are relevant to this situation. So immediately the user has to integrate some context and knowledge they have about the environment in order to even select what input data is going to be important to their investigation. Once that's been selected, you have to go through and pick a report type. What kind of data quality do we want to look at? How do we want things grouped? How do we want things aggregated? What type of information is going to help lead us to a resolution to our problem, or at least describe a scenario in a way where we now have some sort of actionable insight that we can apply backwards in. After that, we have to apply filters to the result of those report types. Maybe there's only specific hosts we're interested, or ports and protocols, or applications and services that are the kind of subject of the study that we're running. And describing those things can be somewhat verbose, and we have lots of powerful filtration tools, but again, it does require the user to kind of understand, what and where to apply those filters in order to get the best results out of their report. And then finally, the report comes back. We get the results we were looking for. We kind of understand what was going on at that point in time on the network, and we can pivot from that into kind of our remediation steps now that we have some context around, this user or application log said there's a problem or degradation or security, whatever it is. We go through the steps of isolating that traffic. We identify it, make it available in a report, and then we ultimately use that data to go back and remediate the problem. So lots of steps, lots of kind of time dealt. We talked MTTR in a previous talk. A long time between kind of identification of the problem and approaching the beginning of the mitigation steps and what we're going to do about it. So in this initial offering, and this is a lot of what we showed off at Cisco Live in product, is going to be flattening that whole process down to the kind of the chat style interfaces that we're getting used to across all these products, and then having that drive directly through to the report with all the filters applied and the input data selected and the report types kind of becoming transparent to the user themselves, and instead going directly from intent that's described in language right through data that describes the situation that we were hoping to get context into.